Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today I wanted to outline my current strategy that I've been theory crafting as to how to best roll Convoking Wands in the current league. Now this is something that is exclusive to the 3.18 league unless somehow Recombinators go core. It's going to use the principles that are used for rolling Convoking Wands in normal leagues on a budget, but is also going to have a couple of different high-end options for times that you miss, because we're going to be going for a craft that's 1 in 32, but some of the failed attempts can actually have some uses. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by making everything rare. So that's just going to be a matter of hitting them with a binding orb. This is important because we're going to be using our powerful chaotic resonators. We're using fossils. Very unlikely you'll get anything even remotely useful here, but while we're using these binding orbs, we are conveniently 3-linking the items, which does save a small amount of currency if we do actually succeed in any of them. Now we're going to be using a combination of fossils, but firstly it's very important to point out item levels on all of these Convoking Wands have been carefully chosen. They are all strictly less than 83. This is very, very, very important because if you use 83 or above, a new mod enters the pool that is highly undesirable and it will actually ruin your chances of crafting what you're looking for here. So what we're going to do is use a combination of fossils that ban every prefix except for 3. So we're using Shuddering Fossils, all mana prefixes are banned. We're using Metallic Fossils, all physical prefixes are banned. And we are going to be using Corroded Fossils, all elemental prefixes are banned. And the 3 classes of mods that remain unbanned after this are +1 to the level of all spell skill gems. This is a hit if we get it. +1 to the level of a category of spell skill gems. Now this could be Chaos or it could be Minions, depending on how lucky we get. If we get Minions, winner winner. If we get Chaos, we're just going to keep that one aside. It's probably too good to roll over. And then the third category, which is by far the most common, is spell damage or minion damage mods. These are the same mod group, and as a result, you can't get both together. So here you've got minions deal 59% increased damage. That's from that mod group, but you could also get spells instead. So here's our first attempt, and we got something from the spell damage pool, and that was our only prefix. You'll notice that quite often we're only going to get one prefix while we're doing that. In fact, the way the game generates these wands is it will assign 4, 5, or 6 mods first. Then once it decides it's going 4, 5, or 6 mods, it will then fill those mods. And because there are so many more suffixes that are allowed than there are prefixes, it will almost always randomly choose to fill the suffixes first. Very, very, very rarely will you see an item rolled this way that will have exactly 2 suffixes on it, and you'll basically never see exactly 1. This one's rubbish, so we're going to roll over it. Here, again, we've got rubbish, and again, you'll notice it's 4 mods. You'll see a pattern. Every time we get a 4 mod item, it's going to be complete and utter garbage, but we have the chance of getting a 5 or 6 mod item. The probabilities for this have been empirically determined, and they seem to be 2 in 3 to roll 4 mods, 1 in 4 to roll exactly 5, and 1 in 12 to roll exactly 6. If we get 6, winner winner. And there we go. There's our first moderate hit. Here we've got +1 to the level of all Chaos spell skill gems and +1 to the level of all spell skill gems. Not really what we're going for. We want Minions instead of Chaos, but this is still potentially usable for someone else. This is not what I want, but this is something that someone else might have a use for, and as a result, it's too good to roll over. We're putting that one aside, and we will start rolling on the next Minion one that we have. Now you'll find that 1 time in 12 you're going to get 6 mods, and of those, 1 time in 20 will be a Chaos and spell skill rolls like this, and 1 time in 32 will be a Minion version of that. Okay, so here we got another 4 mod, which is completely useless to us. We can't really take this any further either. We're not in a position where we can do Recombinator shenanigans either. That's just a complete rubbish roll. So we'll take another couple of these, and we will roll 3 more of them, and see if we can do any better with this lot. Now the principles, everything you've seen so far works in the normal game as well. It's not reliant upon Recombinators existing, but there are future things we will do where Recombinators will matter. That's a miss. It's got nothing on it at all. This one has the Magister's mod, +1 to the level of all spell skill gems. We are keeping this one aside. Interestingly, this also has Minions deal 58% increased damage. That's a high roll. This one may end up being good enough that we're not actually interested in rolling over it or using it as Recombinator fodder. We'll think on that one a little bit longer. And we'll just start with the next one. +1 to the level of all Minion spell skill gems, but this is with nothing else useful at all. So here we've got a lower tier version of Minions deal increased damage. This is the sort of thing that we could conceivably recombinate with this for another chance at another bite at the cherry. And we'll give that some thought as to whether or not it's worth it once we see what we get in the other hits that we make here. It may be that I decide to do a risky shot that's not necessarily worth it from a currency perspective, just for the sake of demonstrating the techniques you would take from here. But again, because this has got a +1 to the level of minion skill gems, we're not rolling over it. +1 minions again, that's excellent. It's something we're very happy with, and we will keep that one aside and not roll over it. That's a fail. And that one's a fail. So now we're down to just a few more tries. In terms of the price point for these attempts, the Shuddering Fossils cost me 7C each, Corroded Fossils cost me 8C each, and the Metallic Fossils cost half a chaos each. The Resonators in bulk actually do cost 3C, so you're looking a little bit under 20C per attempt that you see here. Complete brick. Complete brick. Complete brick. And unfortunately, we got no further. Okay, so given that we've done everything that we would have done in patch 3.17 now. At this point, we may as well use a weapon recombinator as well. This is probably not worth using given that the mods on the minion version of this are actually pretty, on the all spell skills version are actually pretty reasonable, and this would be an okay item to use as is, but we'll take a shot at it. Now, people speculate differently as to what the rarity is of getting various pieces together. The lot of it is we don't know, but there's a chance of getting everything we want here. And +1 all spell skills, we kept the Duchess, we got the minion skills, fantastic. That's exactly what we wanted. We got something pretty amazing there that was far better actually than the ones that are available on the market in the 3 to 4 Exalt range. I think this is probably a 7 or 8 Exalt wand at the moment. And we also have a couple of things that are too good to roll over here. So we've got this one, which I don't know the current market price of these. In previous leagues, these have typically been 60, 70 chaos, where you get a +2 chaos spell skill gems, but it's on a convoking one base, which is pretty bad for chaos builds. Have to have a look into that. Very good budget one though for someone that's playing a build like Bane. And then we got this Kraken Goad, which has +1 to the level of all minion skills gems. These are generally selling in the 65 to 70 chaos range currently. And then we have this, which is far, far better. Now, in terms of further crafting from this, we would have the option of using a Harvest Reforge keeping all prefixes, at which point we could then free up a powerful benchcraft on it, which is likely where we'll end up going. So if we were to free up a prefix, so if we were to free up a suffix slot on this, then that would allow us to pick up a powerful benchcraft suffix, such as either minion attack speed or, more importantly, triggered spells when you use a skill. Most minion builds want to use this, and in fact, I definitely want to use this. So that's my plan with this wand. I'm going to use a harvest that reforges keeping all prefixes, and then hopefully I will end up with a mod count of exactly 5. If it's a mod count of 4, then I will apply this craft, and then I'll apply Most Useful Conqueror Exalt. If it's a mod count of 5, I'll apply this craft, and if it's a mod count of 6, I'll have to do another Harvest Reforge. Anyway, that's all I got on this. May your Valobs have interesting results, and may your Recombinators treat you as well as they did in this video. That's certainly better than I usually get, but I'm not complaining.